Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And it's been a while. During the pandemic, we've had a bit of a hiatus in terms of new films to talk about. But tonight, we're back. We're back with a vengeance, and I want to welcome my two devoted and awesome guest critics. We've got the two Matts tonight. We've got Matt Habermann, aka Kid Champagne. Hey, Matt.
How you doing, Randy? Good to be here. Glad to do this again. It's been a while.
Yeah, very exciting. And the other Matt, Mr. Matt Roren. Hello, sir.
Hello, it's great to be back.
And I should say that Matt Habermann, you and I, we co-host Nostalgia Time, and we've had some fun this summer and early fall talking about some classics. So,
oh, yeah. And it's just going to keep on going.
Yeah. You know, we need to embrace the classics. I love the nostalgia. That's what I thrive on. And you guys too. I know you guys are into the classics as well. And Mr. Matt Roren, how is Cult Cafe going?
It's going good. I've been doing it via satellite. No, I've been doing it from the woods. I've been doing a haunted trail thing from beyond out in Wheatley Heights.
From beyond.
Every weekend since the beginning of October. So I haven't actually been able to watch with everybody. Basically just been setting up the watch party while I'm standing in the woods waiting for cars to come by. Once this weekend's over, everything goes back to non-normal until the theaters open up again. But for the time being, we got Trick or Treat this weekend, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
So.
Cool. And how's we don't have an image, but Dinosaur Man, how's that going?
Doing okay. I did that for the first 2 weeks. Lately, the last week I've been doing a shadow person, which kind of just looks like a Jawa in all black.
Are the eyes lit up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great too because I can control the eyes. So I just like walk out in front of a car, like not in front of a car, but like I pop up to like the passenger window, and then I turn the lights on, so it's pitch black. But then like you see the eyes light up, and then they freak out. It's a lot of fun.
That's terrifying. That sounds like one of the movies on Cult Cafe, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. And Matt Habermann, how is Nostalgia Time treating you? I know I'm having a blast every episode, but you've done a couple of episodes now. It's always a lot of fun. How are you enjoying it?
Oh, I'm enjoying it. I just love like just putting people together and just discussing all these topics. And I'm just been going out before. I mean, I'm already starting holiday month, and we're going to be having some great topics to talk about on holiday month. And it's just great, you know. It's just got involved, and even for what it is, for how we even done it. I just saying was for a dream come true. When we were on for the Titus reunion, and how we got together and how we reached down, I got to talk to Stacy Keach and Zach Ward and
David Shatra.
Yeah. It was just amazing just to hear from them. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Like, this is like a shocker. It was an experience. Anchored by you, it was just amazing. So I do want to say, Randy, thank you for that.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. You know, I love bringing people and movies together as well. So yeah, talking to that talent was a definite highlight this summer. So, and I'm really glad I got to share that with you.
Yeah, and we're just gonna just keep on coming, and I'm excited that you're part of this with me, and we're just gonna keep on going.
Keep going.
Gonna keep on going and moving.
Sounds good to me. All right, guys. So tonight we're gonna talk about the remake of the 1990 film The Witches, which is actually an adaptation of the book by Roald Dahl. And you know what, this film, I was very surprised to see that it was directed by one of my all-time favorite directors, Robert Zemeckis. Amazing.
Yes.
And it's got a great cast: Anne Hathaway, Octavia Spencer, Stanley Tucci, the voice of Chris Rock. It's got beautiful visual effects, very dazzling computer-generated imagery, And it's basically it's the same story that we all know and love, and it's a strange story. Basically, it's about an orphaned young boy who is taken in by his aunt, or was it grandmother. And basically they get out of town for a few days to this hotel, and at the same exact time there's actually a witches convention. And now in the original film it was Angelica Houston as the Grand High Witch.
Yeah.
She was great in that, by the way. Now we have Anne Hathaway in the role as the Grand High Witch, and this film, it's decent, it's fun, it's really, it's kid friendly, but it really does not hold a candle to the original film, which I actually saw for the very first time ever in my life just a few days ago. And I think what's missing are the practical effects. You've got in the original, you've got some really great makeup and special effects by the Jim Henson Company. So that really added to the genuine feel of the story. In the new one, it's all CGI. It's kind of all over the place. And in my opinion, it wasn't as good as the original. Matt Roren, what were your thoughts, sir?
Well, I mean, I agree that it's not as good as the Henson one, of course. I'm a huge Henson head, so there was no way I thought it was going to go that far. But I'm also a big fan of the Roald Dahl story as well. A lot of his stories, and I took it as when the trailers came out and everyone was talking about it, and everyone was like, "Oh, how could they remake this?" My mindset was, it's not a remake because it's based off of a book. It's not trying to remake that movie. It's just doing a different adaptation of a book.
A reimagining.
I tend to do, when it comes to stuff like that. Like, it's not a remake of a movie. It's just a different perspective of a book. Unless it's Tim Burton doing it, then it's crap.
If you're talking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Actually, all right. There are elements of it I like, but it's not good.
Right. You can replace Gene Wilder with Johnny Depp. That's
it's like, I'm always like, when it's stuff like that, like even a lot of like Stephen King ones, I kind of like try to take away the other movie. Like, it's like, okay, like this is based on a book. Like, it's not like it's an original screenplay that they're redoing. So it's not like they remade Star Wars. It's like, it's different.
Right.
But I enjoyed the cast. I thought Anne Hathaway was spectacular. I mean, everyone was very good. But it definitely lacked the beauty of the practical effects, which I say about pretty much every movie that's come out in the last 20 years. It's like every movie that came out since Jim Henson died has lacked practical effects. It's pretty much like he died like 2 years before Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park was like the last movie that the only movie that perfectly blended CGI and practical.
Yeah.
And that part, I mean, the CGI, it wasn't so over the top. Like, it's been a lot worse than a lot of other recent movies, but like I didn't think it was like distasteful. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I definitely liked it. I didn't love it as much as the Henson one, but definitely enjoyed it.
Sure, it had its pluses and minuses for sure.
It did. I mean, let's just face it, from like some of the special effects that, I mean, in the movie The Witches from the 1990 film, I mean, they were scary. I mean, let's put it this way, how they transformed Bruno, like that rigorous transformation, like that was scary.
Yeah, it's like American Werewolf in London, where it's like, what? Yeah. This is a kid's movie. Like, it's terrifying.
Yeah, the 1990 film was a lot darker than I expected it to be.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of questionable. Is like, would I ever show that to my kids in the future? Maybe if they're a little older, but Yeah, I don't know. You guys are both dads, so how do you feel about bringing the story of the witches into their lives, Matt Haberman?
Um, I would have to say, if you're the age of 6,
Mm,
watch it with them, accompanying with them,
yeah.
or maybe start out with, you know what, Hocus Pocus, because that's a little bit of a different of a family with the witches. They're not more in, well, they are trying to go and destroy children, but
And,
it's
you
not.
know, there's creepy elements, but at least they're more humorous.
Yeah,
They're more humorous. Exactly.
yeah. Roren, have you showed this to your kids?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the first time we watched this was a couple years ago. The kids were probably like 4, 6, and 10 or whatever.
Okay,
So
that's good. That's appropriate.
I saw that movie when I was 5 years old in theaters. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really? Cool.
yes, yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's very dark, but the original is dark. It's very comical too. So, I think that you owe a lot to Angelica Houston's performance.
oh,
She's fantastic. You know, and it's almost like a precursor to her role as Morticia Addams, I'd say, in the Addams Family films. So some parallels there, in my opinion. All right, and worth mentioning. I cannot get over this. Matt Haberman and I are Ghostbusters. We're ghost heads through and through. They showcase a certain toy in this movie, in the original Witches.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Kenner Real Ghostbusters Firehouse playset, and it just blows me away because this toy was my life, was my childhood, and to just see it on screen in such a dramatic fashion.
He had the dream of sleeping in that fire.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever imagined or
Destroy it.
I've never thought about, okay, what if I were 3-4 inches tall and I could live in that firehouse? I never thought that, but I think I am kind of thinking it now. But why not? It's an awesome scene. It's the final sequence of the first film, and it's just great. And I mean, if the new film had an element of that in it, I think I would have liked it a lot more.
You're like, well, this movie was all right, but if it had the Real Ghostbusters playhouse in it,
yes,
then it would have been amazing.
Hey, I'm a ghost head. I'm a Ghostbuster.
If he drove the Ecto-1, I'd have a better opinion of this film.
I would, and that's actually a really good scene idea.
Just wait to my viewpoint of it, and you're gonna see for what really I have to say, because I've done some research into this.
Nice. So yeah, and you know what? I want to also mention Stanley Tucci's performance. He's always great. I don't think he's ever done a bad performance. He's fantastic.
He's no Rowan Atkinson.
Well, it's debatable. I mean, they're very, very different.
They're both excellent in different ways.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know who's better, Rowan or Stanley.
Rowan.
Rowan? Yeah, you're a Rowan. Roren, are you a Rowan? Rowan.
Of course.
Yeah.
Blackadder, Mr. Bean. I'm for it all. I love it.
Cool.
Rat Race, he was great.
That's a great film. And that might be a future commentary, by the way.
Race.
But I think Tucci held his own in this movie.
Oh yeah, Tucci is. I mean, he's a great that guy.
Yeah. Indeed. And I want to go back a little bit to Robert Zemeckis. When I saw that his name was attached as director, I was a little surprised. I'll be honest with you. I don't know, Haberman, were you surprised to see Robert Zemeckis directed this?
Yeah, absolutely. When I saw that Robert Zemeckis was directing this, I was like, well, you know what? Oh my God, you know what? But I gotta say, he's one of my favorite directors, directed one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And I said to myself, I'm gonna watch this movie in Robert I trust.
Okay. Interesting way to put that. Roren, I know you're a Zemeckis guy.
Oh yeah, I love Zemeckis. All of his work.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't notice until the credits. I totally like missed it, which is funny because Zemeckis is like such a big name. I mean, you know, even like Back to the Future aside, you know, he's Castaway Flight, you know, Roger Rabbit. Like, I mean, his credits are incredible.
Yeah.
And you know, he's still to this day like such a respected director. In all the things that I read and heard about the movie, they mentioned Guillermo del Toro so much.
Yeah.
Who just like produced it?
I think he co-wrote it as well.
Oh, co-wrote it?
Yeah.
But like,
which is also surprising.
They mentioned him so much and not a single word of Zemeckis, who's probably one of the biggest names in the motion picture industry.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize until it was over, and I was like, oh, wow.
But it kind of it's like surprising for like 2 seconds, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think his career kind of went downhill after the Polar Express in 2004. After that, he just did a bunch of CGI-heavy, basically animated films with CGI elements. You know, Christmas Carol, which was kind of lackluster. So, you know, I was a little hesitant when I was watching this movie, and when I actually found out that he was attached. So, you know, it's like a sort of a pleasant surprise, but at the same time, you know, I wasn't surprised at the quality of the film. You know, it didn't really blow me away. You know, and that's sad because, you know, it's the guy who gave us Back to the Future, and Forrest Gump and Castaway. Like, this is a master filmmaker. So this film kind of fell short, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, see it or skip it. Do you recommend this, Habermann?
Well, I'm just going to give my review on this.
Oh, sure.
I really did enjoy this film. Do I think it was held up to the original? Absolutely not. But it was entertaining. I mean, seeing how they did like the the mouse maker potion, how it transformed into a mouse, how they shoot up and then they come. I think that was pretty good and everything.
Lots of farting.
Yeah.
But here's one thing in the old, Roald Dahl saw the original The Witches film from the 1990 version, and he was not happy with that version. He thought, how the ending was, that's not how it was supposed to be, of how my book, because in Hollywood, they wanted a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And they, in this book too, I'm not going to give away, but, they wanted to do kind of like the adaptation, which is more accurate to the book. But if I say if Roald Dahl was here and he saw that film too, I'll be honest with you, I don't think he would even like it either. I don't know if you guys...
He would probably be less happy with it.
Now, I did not read the original book. Did you guys? Yep.
I have all of his books, so...
Got it? There it is.
Yeah.
Now, how would you rate all three forms of the story? I'm assuming book is number one for you guys.
Book is number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
this movie is number 3.
Yeah,
It's basically in order that they came out.
Right, and declining quality.
Yeah.
Well, I think what is also good from the original film to close it is I like how Jim Henson did with Angelica Houston as a Grand High Witch, how all the other witches were pretty much, the same. They were bald and, they're playing shoes, but not the Grand High Witch. She was just the most evil and gruesome one.
Yeah. And that image, that Jim Henson-ness of the look of the Grand High Witch is it's like burned in my memory. It's so great. Yeah. They attempted to do that with Anne Hathaway with the wide mouth. Kind of looked like a character from Fright Night.
Had the wide mouths.
Yeah. It was again, it fell short and I was disappointed, but it's still a fun film. It's a romp. It's if you're bored, I would say go check it out.
I was happy it came to streaming because I know it was the theater. I thought it was bad, but when I heard it was going to HBO Max, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I have to see this film.
Yeah, and it is actually now streaming on HBO Max, and it's actually also in select theaters. So, if you find a theater that is playing it, I would say check it out on the big screen. That'd be a lot of fun. So, Roren, see it, skip it? Do you recommend it?
You know, if you got HBO Max and you just want to watch something, you're with the kids, you want to watch something, it's a little thrilling. It's Halloween time. I say give it a go. Once again, not amazing, but I say it's definitely worth seeing at least once.
Sure. Oh, and also, I wanted to mention that frequent collaborator with Zemeckis is composer Alan Silvestri, who actually gives a very dynamic, a very rich, triumphant score here. And that's just a lot of fun to listen to. I know, Roren, you're
one of the highlights.
Yeah, I know you're a score head. You're into that stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, guys, we're going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more film reviews right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a Tude to match your attitude. Patent pending, interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6633.
And we're back. Hey guys, this is Unger the Radar. I'm your host Randy Unger, and we are halfway there. We just did one film review for The Witches, and now we're gonna delve into something entirely different. The new Borat film, Borat subsequent movie film, which is a follow-up to the 2006 comedy starring Sacha Baron Cohen about a Kazakh journalist who travels to the United States to basically cause some mischief and kind of uncover the truth. But in this film, in this sequel, he brings along with him his daughter to offer to, I believe, the United States government for some bizarre reason that is escaping me at the moment. And basically, he dons a bunch of disguises. He infiltrates a number of places, institutions, and kind of just goes, creates a little ruckus. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun to see Cohen back in action. It's been 14 years since Borat, which was such an original film, so funny during the time. And it really holds up. I saw it the other day, and it's fantastic. Is the sequel as good as the original? Not really, but it comes kind of close. It's actually really controversial, as you can see from the image behind me. That's basically a very key scene in the film. And yeah, this movie is also very timely. Yeah, no, very timely. It touches on the coronavirus and stuff of that nature, and you can also see it from the promotional materials of Cohen wearing a mask on his genitalia. So yeah, Habermann, what did you think of Borat 2?
I thought it was hilarious. I think it's still, Sacha Baron Cohen, he's a very creative and funny person, and actually how some of the jokes he actually was filming when some of those events were actually happening during one of the convention, not I think it was that Republican show when it was trying to offer daughter to Mike Pence. I thought that was hilarious.
That was great, and
that was penis.
That was real too. I think
yeah,
pretty much all of this is real.
Yeah,
it's hard to see what's fabricated, but I think most of it, if not all of it, is real.
He gets himself in there. Real.
Yeah,
but I do notice that there was more a budget for this one, a bigger budget, because there was some more of a little bit of a storyline and more dialogue. If you can think for the first for the first Borat film, it was like, more like mockumentary style with like all his jokes, but like it kind of like had a little story in it.
Yeah. I mean, I love the stuff with the daughter. I thought she was great. Played by Maria Bakalova. I've never seen her before. I think this might be one of her first.
This was her debut film.
It was. She knocked it out of the park. She was almost better than Cohen, in my opinion.
Yeah. He's campaigning to get her an Oscar, or at least an album.
You think?
Which I think she should. She was fantastic.
She was fantastic. Roren, what was it like for you diving into
I absolutely loved it. I watched it right after the last debate, which, it's a painful thing. So I watched it right after that, and I needed it. I laughed out loud, more than I have in a long time. It's like, and it's hard to, a lot of people are complaining that oh, it's not as good as the first one, but his comedy is also, I mean, it's pretty much the same as it's been since the Ali G show, but he has I feel like he's pushed boundaries further.
What he did.
This is more like this movie was more like his last show, Who is America?
Okay.
Which, if you have not seen, I suggest you watch. It's on Showtime. It is fantastic. He interviews a bunch of people. Bernie Sanders. He all in character. He makes Republicans say crazy stuff. And he also interviews O.J. Simpson, and it is insane. But it's an incredible show, and this is more like that show. But I mean, it's the beloved character. That it's funny how, I guess, it's one of those things where it's like Austin Powers, where it's like this character that everybody loved in this time that it came out. Then the everyone just saying my wife and everything just drove people to hate Borat. But then the second the new Borat movie came out, everyone was like, oh, yes! Even though they're all pretending they don't like Borat. Obviously there's still people that are I don't like it. But I thought it was fantastic. I'll probably watch it again pretty soon. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check out that special you just mentioned.
It's a series. I think it's
series.
Maybe 6 episodes.
All right.
But it's fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah. It came out 2 years ago.
Nice. Was he Borat in that? Or
no. He did 5 different other characters.
Wow.
It's kind of like going back to the Ali G show, where he did Ali G and Bruno and Borat, but it's new characters.
Okay. Cool.
I didn't know that Bruno was part of the Ali G show.
Wasn't it's been so long since I watched it. He might not have been.
I don't know. I just remember the standalone film, which I thought was really funny at the time too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not as good as Borat, but still pretty entertaining.
And then there was The Dictator. That was.
Oh yeah. That was awesome. Yeah.
I enjoyed all of his stupid movies too. Was the one with the twin brothers? I thought it was funny.
What about the second Alice in Wonderland?
It's funny. I didn't see the first one.
Okay.
But I saw the second one because he was in it. I went to go see it in the theater because he was in it, and I thought he was great.
Was he?
Okay. It was Les Miserables, the film adaptation.
Yeah, that one I didn't see, but he's. I would have really liked to see him as Freddie Mercury, because he was originally supposed to play him in Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah,
I like that.
He opposed to the fact that at the time they didn't even want to mention that Freddie Mercury was gay in the movie, so he walked
He almost won an Oscar. That's crazy.
Well, Rami Malek was one of the saving graces of that film, so
true.
Good for him. He was fantastic.
I thought John Ottman's editing was pretty good too. But Haberman, have you been following Cohen's career since the early days?
Since I haven't really been following much of his career, but I mean, I'm a fan of his movies, and even I've watched like some of the things from his show, The Ali G Show.
Yeah.
I had one time I bought like the soundtrack to Borat, and even like there was one. I mean, there was one song that he does in that, which I think we could pretty much adaptate to new if he had new lyric. It's called "In My Country There Is Problems."
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into it because for what it is, but you know, he one thing in the sequel, he did a kind of like a song in the film that was kind of like "In My Country There Is Problems," or like something related with COVID.
And that song that was leaked at the beginning of the year, like a full version of it, and it was everyone was like, "What is this new like?" I mean, that was just incredible to like see that, you know, at the time, and it's like, okay, it's in this movie.
And then they're all, you know, it's like one of those crazy rallies, and they're like, "Well, but that's how they are."
Yeah. I mean, this movie is just so controversial without being insulting. It's an interesting line that it walks. The original film is the same way. Roren, what did you think of the controversial nature of this film and the original?
No, I mean, I love it. I love that he takes that chance, because it's like the things I like about Michael Moore, but like with more balls and more humor.
Imagine if they teamed up.
I know, right? Like I would love to see Michael Moore in costume, pretending to be other people.
Just flip it. He'll interview Borat.
Yeah,
That's
but
cool.
you know, I love that kind of like just that kind of humor that it's like what made the Daily Show so good. You know, and like Colbert Report. You know, it's like political humor when it's smart and edgy. You know.
And I think now more than ever, we need that type of satire.
Definitely do.
You know, that's what we need the humor during this time. That satirical.
That Borat movie was necessary.
Yeah, yeah.
And he knew it. That's why he brought it to us. You know.
The thing with all these comedians, that you know, everyone now gets easily offended.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, comedians like Sacha Baron Cohen, he takes that step. He doesn't. You know what? That's what you got. You just got to take that step and be ahead of your time. That's
you need those guys who push the boundaries, man.
Huh?
I mean, Carlin did it, and you know, Bill Hicks. You know, and it's
Lenny Bruce,
obviously, yeah. And you know, it's one of those things where it's like it's been a while since we've actually had a comedian who really does something like that, and the way he does it is brilliant.
Another one who I always mention, who is my favorite, who we've been, you know what you guys say. You know who I'm talking about.
Christopher Titus.
It is.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
But basically, comedians need to be fearless. Like that's like the one. You know, they have to be smart, sure, but I think fearlessness has to go above that.
And it's at a point where it's hard. I mean, to be fearless because, you know, they're people are watching you and they're just waiting for you to say the wrong thing, and like, you know, and you need someone like Sacha Baron Cohen to just
for sure. So we need more of that, and this movie is great. I loved it. It's hilarious, and I think they should just stop right here. You know, no more Borats. I think they pretty much said all that they needed to say.
Yeah, I mean, I did. You know, the thing is, I also like after the first Borat movie came out, I was like, you know what, Borat's done his time. We can go past Borat, and then I got the surprise like 14 years later.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So maybe in another 14 years, I'll take another Borat movie. But as long as he keeps creating, and he keeps you know just putting stuff out. And that's what I love is he's not beating the same character over and over again. His last show created all new personalities. It's like that's what we need. Because I mean, it's like the Bruno movie was like okay, like you know, a lot of his characters like don't really like deem a whole full movie, but like you know, I think Borat actually was surprisingly fantastic for 2. So.
And the thing with Borat, and all of Cohen's characters, they're not very interesting characters, but what they do and what they say and the worlds that they kind of create around them, that's what's really interesting. They're
right, because they're always the odd man out, or like you know, it's like it's always funnier when you're like that fish out of water, when you're like almost too stupid for the situation, and you know, it's you know, just like the fact that like there is for some reason like such a plot in this movie, which is like was a total surprise to me that like it's like the end was actually like, wow, they actually like wrote this like whole plot in here, and I wasn't expecting it.
Oh yeah,
it was kind of genius.
That was like, well, okay, that's really nice.
And yeah, again, back to the daughter, Maria Bakalova. I really want to see more of her because
definitely she was so good.
I think an actress that can display strong comedic chops can go a long way because a sense of humor that for me that's number one really. And yeah, I want to see her in something else. And I think she's going to get a lot of work because of this movie.
I really hope she does. She was hilarious through it. I especially loved like the scene where she went to the women's Republican meeting.
Oh my god. Incredible.
Oh my god.
Just like
the inappropriateness, it goes down in the generation. So yeah.
And that's what they needed. That's what they well deserved.
So good. But yeah, I'm never gonna look at Rudy Giuliani the same way. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for everyone who hasn't seen it yet, but that's, in my opinion, that might be the best scene in the movie, at least the most controversial.
Most controversial, and even for what it is, you can't run from it now.
That's true. Awesome. So, guys, I think it's unanimous. We're going to recommend this movie. See it.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Stop waiting. If you haven't seen it already, watch it right now.
Do it. So
we're almost done here. You watch it when we're done.
Yes. And it is now available streaming on Amazon Prime Video. So everybody go check that out now. Now, guys, I just want to do a little plug right now for Paramount Pictures. They're actually celebrating some anniversaries in November. These films are getting a new DVD, Blu-ray, and digital release. So maybe we could just do like a little discussion of these movies. I haven't seen all of them, but you guys may have seen some of them or all of them. First up is The Legend of Bagger Vance, celebrating 20 years.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
I know it's some golf movie. Wait.
It's one of those magic black people movies, right?
Yes. It's Matt Damon who plays he's a golfer. He's kind of struggling with his inner demons, and he actually by chance meets Will Smith's character, who is a caddy, and basically Will Smith's character Bagger Vance gives him life lessons. He's very sage-like. He's very wise. And throughout the whole movie, it's basically about them, their relationship. And Charlize Theron's in it. She plays Matt Damon's love interest. And it's actually a really pleasant film. It's magical. It's fairly well acted. And if you're into golf, then this is probably your best bet as your favorite movie. So,
and then it's your bag, Vance.
Sure. We'll go with that. But yeah, it's celebrating 20 years, and it's actually a relatively decent film. Next up on Paramount Pictures list is Scrooge, starring Albert Finney, celebrating 50 years. And everybody knows the story of Scrooge, obviously. I actually didn't see this version, but I love Albert Finney. Is it really good? Yeah.
I never.
love Finney. I love Finney. I loved him in Big Fish. He was great in Annie, and numerous other Wolfen, terrific.
Back when I was a child, before we had the Christmas Story on the TV 100 hours a day every day, we had this movie on the TV 100 hours a day. And it's awesome. It's a great movie.
Nice.
It's really well done. It's not my favorite adaptation because that would be, of course, Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Of course. I was about to say.
I was going to say that. I thought you meant that, but then I would say 50 years. No, Scrooge hasn't been out for 50 years, maybe 30.
Yeah, like, how old am I? I saw that in the theater. Am I over 50?
Roren is ageless, ladies and gentlemen. All right, next up we've got Get Rich or Die Tryin'. And this is celebrating
a 50 Cent movie?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a movie.
Celebrating 15 years. So there you go.
I know that's the name of the album. I didn't even know that was a movie.
Yeah. Oh, is it an album? I didn't even know it was an album.
Yeah, that's his album with the popular song on it. It's your birthday, gonna party like it's your birthday.
Thank you, Roren.
But apparently it's a movie too, which I hope is just it's your birthday, gonna party like
it's just him doing
birthday.
That an hour and a half of that. I love it.
Maybe one that I would see on DVD, but I wouldn't mind seeing it streaming if it's on one of the platforms.
Probably is. Probably not that hard to find, So that's celebrating 15 years. And if you're a 50 Cent fan, have at it. Our next up is a movie that I've never seen, but it sounds pretty good. You Can Count on Me. And I think it's a dramedy. It's got a pretty all-star cast. I don't know if you guys have seen or heard of it. But,
not ringing a bell.
Yeah, it's one of those. Let's see here. So it is a drama. And Laura Linney, Mark Ruffalo, Rory Culkin, and Matthew Broderick. That's a great cast. And that is celebrating 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. Came out in the year 2000. And yeah, I would definitely check that one out because I love the cast. That's great.
Cast.
And you guys have never heard of it at all. Okay.
No, we haven't.
Slipped under my radar.
Oh, all right. Well, now it's sort of on your radar.
Yes.
Next up, we've got the 25th anniversary of It Takes Two, which I believe was
Mary-Kate Ashley Olsen movie?
Yeah. Kirstie Alley, Steve Guttenberg, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, did you just say 25 years?
Yeah. Came out in 95.
Oh my God. That's so weird.
Why?
How old are they now?
Is it long? Yeah. Well, they're I think they're in their mid-30s, early to mid-30s now.
That would make sense because I'm 40.
I remember that film. That was a nice film.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember. Wait, that was Kirstie Alley and
Steve Guttenberg?
Steve Guttenberg. That one I've seen because I love the Goot.
Who doesn't? The man's great.
I remember this of like when that family adopted one of those like, your name is now Betty Buttkiss.
I think I have to check this movie out because I love the cast.
Love the Goot.
Gutenberg. I'll just watch Gutenberg. That's all I need in my life. All right, so that's celebrating 25 years. Next up, we've got the Jerry Lewis comedy film Cinderfella. That is celebrating 60 years. And, I've never been a huge Jerry Lewis fan, but I did love The King of Comedy. I thought he was fantastic in that.
One of my favorite movies of all time, King of Comedy.
So good.
As far as his comedy goes, it's like I get it, and it's funny and everything. I'm not like a huge fan. I guess it's because I'm not French, but it's something I should see. I haven't seen it, so
okay. But you're a Jerry Lewis fan, right, Roren?
I'm a Jerry fan. My dad was.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
I've seen some of his classics: Jumping Jacks,
Nutty Professor,
Nutty Professor, The Bellboy.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was another one after that.
Okay. Yeah, he's done a lot, and he was great in the telethon. So there you go. All right. So last on the list of Paramount Pictures anniversary films is the Elvis Presley musical GI Blues.
Okay.
And this one is celebrating 60 years as well. You know, Elvis, he didn't really make it as an actor, but he did have a few films in his filmography.
That Blue
I didn't,
Hawaii.
yeah. What was the Jailhouse one? Jailhouse Blues?
House Rock.
Jailhouse Rock, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean he made quite a few films
Yeah.
in that era. I mean, I guess they made a lot of quick cash off of those because
It's Elvis.
he was very popular.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
and his movies are hella fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because they're absurd.
Yeah.
Like they really are ridiculous. Like no matter what situation he's in, a band just appears behind him and he starts singing.
Nice.
They parachute down on the beach. They start playing. It's
That's
fantastic.
all the movies was about, him singing, and that was it.
And shaking those hips.
It's just him like oh, it's all like Romeo and Juliet. Every one of his movies is like, oh, your daddy says I can't have you. And then it's like, but I'm gonna sing and make things better. Like it's like every one of the movies. It's great.
Nice.
They're a lot of fun.
Well, my favorite quote unquote Elvis movie is probably Honeymoon in Vegas, where
Did he sing Viva Las Vegas in that? I think he did.
I think they sang a few of his songs in that, but I just remember Nicolas Cage not knowing what cord to pull when he's skydiving. But yeah, but skydiving with a bunch of Elvis impersonators, that's movie magic right there.
Yep.
All right, guys. So that is the last of the list of Paramount Pictures films celebrating anniversaries. Did any of those sound interesting to you guys, Habermann?
So watch It Takes Two and maybe watch The Legend of Bagger Vance because of sports movies. I would watch those.
Nice. Roren, are you going to go buying these movies or downloading them?
I'm not in a rush.
Purchase.
Got a lot on my plate.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't turn any of them away.
Sure. Sounds good. Yeah, it's a very varied list. A lot of strange choices, I'd say, but some entertaining ones. And I think out of all of them, the ones that I have seen, The Legend of Bagger Vance was definitely a standout film. I was really surprised at how good it was. I've never been a huge Matt Damon fan, but he was decent in this. And I love Will Smith, so he also
I'll pretty much watch anything that guy's in. So.
Yeah, for sure. So guys, we have a few minutes left. I just wanted to go around and do some plugs. Anything happening? Habermann, I know Nostalgia Time is you got a lot going on there. Can you tell everybody about that?
Yes. Nostalgia Time. We are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and through Anchor. We have done so many. We have up to, I think, 12 episodes. We're going to be recording our next episode, which is going to be, we're now in our horror month. We're concluding horror month in these next couple of episodes. But next episode we're going to be talking about is going to be Hocus Pocus. We'll have Randy Unger join us, of course. We also have our two big horror buffs that will be on us, which is Thomas Puglisi and also my old college friend, Kimberly Schwartz. So we're going to all be on. We're going to discuss Hocus Pocus. And also, I'm just going to say, we're doing also on, which is Kimberly Schwartz, site, Facebook group page on Facebook. It's called Horror is a Way of Life. And we're going to be doing our first costume contest. And we're going to have the costume contest. It actually starts now. Post your Halloween costume pictures on the group. And the winner will be selected by me. And the winner will be coming on to Nostalgia Time and will be the guest host. Will take the show over to discuss the topic of their choice.
Sounds good.
And then we're gonna, we have so much that we've talked about throughout when we started. We started in August, I think it was. We started with Ghostbusters. became my first guest on that show. You and I did the first show, and after that, we just kept on going.
Now, Matt, I'm a little fuzzy on the costume contest. Can you explain that a little bit in more detail? What do people need to know?
All they have to do is pretty much just post a picture of them in their Halloween costume and post it to the group. Horror is a way of life. You have to be 18 or over, and a member of Horror is a way of life. So just keep posting those pictures up until Halloween. The cutoff time is going to be 11:59 on Halloween. And then I'm going to pick the winner. I will announce it on the group Horror is a Way of Life, and we'll also announce it on our conclusion episode, which will be of Horror Month, which will be when we talk about Friday the 13th again, because we left off with that.
Yeah. We've got a lot of part 2s coming up, so.
Yeah, we do.
A lot to talk about. All right, sounds good. Habermann, thank you. And Mr. Roren, any plugs on your end, sir?
Oh, as always, Saturday nights on the Facebook group, the Cult Cafe Not So Secret Society, we will be streaming a film, as we do every Saturday night, 9:50. So this weekend we're doing the 1986 classic Trick or Treat, of course, with Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons and Mark Price, a.k.a. Skippy from Family Ties. And it is a doozy of a movie. It's a lot of fun. And, yeah, it's a good one. So we do that every Saturday night.
Yes.
And we'll be doing it until we're back in a theater.
Yes, I love it.
It's looking like maybe January. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw something for the Cinema Arts Center. So there's a...
Yeah, they're redoing all the seats and making it all COVID cozy. So it's going to be until at least December or January.
Gotcha. Why are you a pirate right now?
Why not?
Nice.
You want to be. Even for Halloween, is a time where you can...
Exactly. Awesome. And some plugs from our lovely sponsor, Magnitude Jewelry. There's an all-kids fair, a virtual expo, November 8th at 1 p.m. There's also the New Life Virtual Expo on November 8th, same day, but that's later on at 5:30 p.m. There's also the Body and Mind Spirit Expo, and that's November 21st and the 22nd in Tampa, Florida. And also, guys, just check out on the Magnitude Jewelry website, there's a new kids line, so that's exciting too. So that's just Magnitude Jewelry. You just Google that, you'll find that, all the information there. It's a great company. They've got great jewelry, and it actually promotes health too. These magnets, I'm not going to get into the whole science of it, but they're really good for you, and they look...
Magnets, how do those work?
Yeah. I'm not going to get into the science, but yeah, there's something with the stones that there's a property there. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much. This was great. It was great returning to the old format. It's great having you guys on as always. The two Matts, we've got Matt Habermann. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thanks. Glad to do this again.
Yeah, and I'll see you soon for the next Nostalgia Time.
Oh, yes. It's going to be fun. Check out Nostalgia Time with Kids Champagne, everyone.
And also, Mr. Matt Roren, thank you again. Always
a pleasure. It's great to see new movies. I've actually been to the movie theater 3 times in the last week.
Oh, nice.
I'm taking my life back. But of course, still being safe.
Yes.
And it's great because I've been the only other person in the theater each time. So I've been one person alone in the theater. So,
hey, we're slowly coming back to normalcy, sort of.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that.
Let's hope.
Yeah. So everyone watching at home and on your devices, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We're going to have more episodes in the near future. And yeah, Happy Halloween to everybody watching. To you, gentlemen, thank you. And we'll see you soon. I'm Randy Unger. This has been Unger the Radar. We'll see you next time. Take care.